All right, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Steve Sleepy, and we find ourselves back in the garage working on the track bike today. Still waiting for the weather to cooperate so we can paint it, so I figured I'd get some other stuff done. So, the objective of this track bike is pretty simple. Is A, to have fun, and B, to make it durable and have longevity. So I'm not interested in really raising the horsepower or anything. What this bike makes is gonna be plenty for me to really get into track riding and learn it. In fact, it's probably too much to begin with, so we're definitely not worried about that. But what I am worried about is if I am gonna be pushing myself and learning these skills, chances are there might be a low side or something here or there. And from all the research I've done and talking to many guys that have been doing track days for a while, they said really good investments are obviously sliders and also case protectors. So my other bike has the Woodcraft ones, which is an actual whole case, side case with like a puck that's kind of built into it and stuff. And they work great and they've been awesome. But at the same time, you are letting all that force hit that case cover. And if you go down hard enough or it slides long enough, it could put a hole in it, and then your day's over, and then you've messed up the track for everybody else. So one of the growing trends that I've seen and a lot of guys are using are the composite GB Racing case covers, which are these guys here. And you might think, oh, hey, it's just a piece of plastic, but when you get these in your hand, you can tell it's like the hardest plastic I've ever felt in my life. Now, one of the things about these things, there are bootleg versions of them and they suck. They literally just break from hitting with a hammer or something like that. So make sure you get these from a reputable source. I've been using sport bike track gear, family-owned business here in the United States, so I try to use them as much as I can. And so I know I got the legitimate ones. Comes with everything you need to install, should be pretty simple, 8mm bolt, but basically these go on over your case and they literally protect your case. The son of the guy who owns sport bike track gear races for Moto America, and last year he went down several times. He went down 3 times before they had to change these. And every single time his case came out unscathed, there was no damage. And I mean, that guy's gonna be going 1,000 times faster than I'm probably gonna be going most of the time. So I think if they can protect him, I think I'm setting myself up to have a bike that can last a small low side or something like that. So all right, we're gonna get into it. It should be pretty simple. Hopefully we don't get any leakage because you're basically taking your case bolts out, but you don't have to take them all out. You're only taking a few per side, so I think if we're careful, we'll be cool. But even if it drips a tiny little drip, we're not pulling the case off. We shouldn't have any separation of the gaskets. And they say that in the instructions. But again, you get every single thing that you need, all the screws, longer screws, etc. And what's really cool about these things is when you do get them on, the bolt head is actually recessed inside here, so that if you do go down and it's dragging or scraping or something, it's not gonna let the bolt head get messed up, so then you can take them off and put new ones on if you need to. All right, let's get into it. Shouldn't take that long, and we should be offering ourselves a whole bunch of protection on the bike in case we ever have a low side. So let's get into it. All right, so we're gonna start with this first case cover, or this case cover right here for the oil fill area. We're just gonna look and see what bolts we need to take out, and it is that one, that one, that one, and that one. And then make sure you're gonna use the ones that came with the kit because they're probably a little bit longer to compensate for the extra parts. So we're gonna put those down here. We'll look at it again one more time to make sure. Okay, so those two, that guy, and this one. So those two and these two. All right, let's get it off. And since these are all the same size, I want to see how much longer it is. So yeah, there you go. You can see that it's compensating for the case. Cool. All right. Up here. Oh yeah, that's a good tight fit. Oh, okay. Well, that's a problem. I guess I just noticed. So my socket won't fit, so I got to get a skinny socket to fit that back one. Not a problem. Be right back. All right, so I did not notice that in my planning, but you're going to need a nice skinny 8mm, and then you'll be able to get this side in. Now, a lot of guys will use a torque wrench. A lot of places will use a torque wrench, but I have a calibrated torque hand. after many years, and I don't use one just like that. Do that at your own risk, but on bolts like this, I'm okay. I'll torque wheel bolts, I'll torque engine bolts, all the things like that, but this, I think is all right. All right, well that's one on, and if you could feel that and hear that, it is solid. There's no rocking, there's no shaking. When you get this thing mounted on there, it is part of your case and protected. I feel better already. All right, we're gonna move on to the second one, and then we're gonna flip onto the other side and do the last one. But seriously, man, this is like a 5-minute job, 10-minute job, and I think the safety and protection that it adds is well worth it. Obviously, I don't have experience knowing that it's worth it yet or not, but seeing a lot of the reviews of the racers and some of the guys that have gone down with these on it, it definitely seems like they work really well. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, make sure you're checking the directions when you do these things. So on this one, on this next guy here, this cover here, you do have 4 different bolt sizes, or 3 different bolt sizes. So it's a 45, 35, 35, and a 25. So make sure you get that right and don't ignore it, because you won't get the proper seal against it. So all right, once again, I'm gonna take my time, line it up, make sure I get the right bolts out, and then make sure I put the right ones in as well. So, all right, here we go. This guy, that one, that one, that So my goal was to be out here at 8 this morning getting this done, because I got a lot to do today. I don't know if any of you guys have wives that are into chickens. My wife is into chickens, and she is rehabbing one right now, and it is in the living room. And that dude decided to start crowing at 4:15 this morning, and it threw me off a lot. All right, so we got the bolts out. We're gonna be putting this guy on. Again, it's got 3 different size bolts, so we're gonna make sure we're using the right ones. We're looking at the instructions. So we put this guy up here, and top one takes a 25, which is the shortest of all of them. So I'm gonna look at these bolts, find the shortest, and that's this guy. All right, so we'll just get him in there. And where's this guy? All right, we'll just get him started. So the 2 on the bottom take the 35. So we'll get that in here. And this one. And then that other one is the one that takes the long one. So, all right, cool. And then here's the long guy going up in the top. All right. Well, not only does that look good, but I feel like that is definitely gonna offer me some protection in case you have a low slide. Because if you look here, you got the puck, which is gonna keep this out. The angle of the bike, so these things will just rub enough, and this is just enough to keep it from really hurting the engine case. All right, let's get to the other side and get this job done. I'm pumped. All right, so if you have 10 minutes, you can add an entirely additional layer of protection to your motorcycle. Literally took me 10 minutes, and from the reviews and all the videos I saw of these, they really work well. Again, let me take a second to say, make sure you're getting the real ones. Make sure you're getting them from a trusted source. I trust Sport Bike Track Gear. I think Revzilla sells them, a lot of places like that. And it's about 278 bucks for all 3. So, and that's general. I mean, I've seen that price pretty much everywhere. You might see a $10 variant here or there, but it's about 275 bucks for all 3. So if you see them for 150, 140, those are probably the bootleg ones. And when I say the quality is not even close, you're not doing yourself any good putting the bootleg ones on. They are not the same thing. I'm not sponsored by this company. I have no affiliation with them. I've just did the research, and it looks like these are the ones to get. And there's enough videos out there with racers showing after they've had a 60, 70 mile an hour off, and their cases are fine. So I went with them, not telling you what to do, but I'm stoked. It's another level of the track bike done and ready to go. As soon as the weather cooperates, I'm gonna paint. That might even be tomorrow, I hope. So if you like the content, man, throw me a like, throw me a subscribe, you know the deal. And as I always say, if it works, it ain't dumb. We'll see you on the next one.